Hi, and welcome to a quick tutorial of Fusion and how to make components and how to join them and move them around a little bit. So as you can see, I made 3 different components right here. That was the first part. You had to make a rectangle, a cylinder, and a triangle here. And I can show you once again, a kind of close out. There's my first one that I made. Remember when you are designing them that as you are saving them, you need to save it as a component in that extrude option. So let me kind of show you. I'm not have anything to extrude right now, but in this extrude portion, you're going to save it as a new component. And that's going to allow us to be able to make a couple of different things. And then move our parts around. So first off, you can see that once again, I created our 3 parts here, and they are all separate, meaning that if I wanted to, I could hit the move button here and I can move that cylinder up and away. I could change it, rotate it around if I wanted to. We're gonna leave it. I'm just gonna hit cancel there. But they're 3 different parts. They're not technically connected by any means. As you can see, if you take a look down at my time frame here, I drew my sketch, I created that rectangle, and then I extruded it, and I created that as a component there. That little box with the star on the top of that means my component. And as you can see, once again, I have my 3 components there. So you're going to start off by creating those first. And then what we're going to be looking at is how we can kind of move different objects around. And that's going to be with this option right up here. And you can see there's that new component option too. You could, I guess, do it that way as well. Is this joint option. And what joint means is that we are able to put together different parts as an assembly. So as you can see, it's in this assembly portion right here. And so if I click on the joint option, it's asking me like, what does it want me to do? So it's got the position. It's going to ask me like, what do I want it to snap to? Do I want it to create a joint origin between 2 faces, kind of like a sandwich? Or 2 edge intersection, meaning kind of like, think about like maybe like a bridge or stairs where you have 2 pieces of metal kind of, or 2 pieces of wood kind of being pushed together. And so then it's going to ask me like, where do I want it to snap to? And then we'll get to this motion one here, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like here. So let's say that I want to move this cylinder over here on this edge of my rectangle. And so I'm going to click right here, and that allows me to say I want this side of the cylinder, and I'm going to say I want it to be moved all the way over here to this side. And if you watch, oh, it did already pretty quick for me. You can see that it's moved it there, and it's got this little motion right here. That means ridge, that it's rigid, that it's stable. And we'll get later in the year, we'll talk about like, well, what if we want it to revolve around? We can change that and make it kind of change the dynamic of it, so it's almost like it's a twist or a key. I'm going to change it back to that rigid there, and it's just saying that they're going to be stuck together. And so that's one way to kind of move it. And the idea of today's activity is just to kind of get used to kind of moving things around and joining them together. So let's say that, well, now I want to join together. Maybe I want, let's say, this side of my triangle. I'm just going to go ahead and make it a nice long line. So this is good to kind of help you just get used to kind of moving things around. Let's say, okay, well, now I've got it joined over there. And so let's say though that maybe you want it like flipped, or once again, you can kind of take a look here and see what's moving on with it here. I think I moved it too far back. See if I can get it back to where I want it. There we go, somewhere in there. And once again, the idea is that you can play it normally does ridge for you, but we can slide it if we want to. Like maybe it's something, and we'll get to this when we do a couple of different things, is that we want it to be able to rotate differently. And so I want you to kind of mess around with these today just so that you can kind of see maybe what are the different options. So I want you to start thinking more about like the mechanics, and we'll start getting into talking about simple machines, and then how to kind of make things revolve around and move and slide. I think I picked most of them pin slot. So you can kind of mess around with this and see that it starts to become a little bit more of a dynamic program now that we've got just our basic parts down. So I don't know, let's see, I don't know what I made there, but there's an object that we can change. And let's say that, oh no, I don't like that. I want to move maybe this part of the triangle. And let's say I want to move it down here. So once again, it moves it to different spots here. And I've obviously done something. I've got a warning sign here saying like, I don't know if you can do that. Still going to let me hit OK there. So nope, it didn't. It went back. So the idea today is to kind of move this around, get the idea of creating your components, which is a little bit different. Yeah, I didn't like that last one. I'm going to delete that. It's probably because I already had it joined and it doesn't want it to do it. So we might have to go back and undo this one. There we go. And then maybe then it will let me move it. There we go. Now it's not mad. There you go. Once again, you can kind of change it around here too. And there's that motion part again. You can go through and make it revolve. It's going to let you do that. It's kind of fun to see. And you can even change a couple of the pieces of it. So anyway, this is just a real quick tutorial to kind of show you that difference between our components. So we're kind of moving into this assembly process. And once again, this is going to help us with our reverse engineering. And then finally, when we get to our Automoto, where we're going to be putting together different machines and making them kind of work and function a little bit differently. So hopefully this was helpful. Thanks.